what does this mean for his career?
This is a disaster.
I started to feel really emotional about it, kind of.
No, this is a huge bummer.
Yeah.
And what is it about games involving the Jags with a star quarterback? Get the guy a cart.
What?
Get the guy a cart. I mean, no, the other game was in Jacksonville. This one's Cincinnati. So, but get the guy a cart.
You are on cart patrol.
I am.
Leon Budsman is back. He's always talking about carts.
He's your $250 million man. He's limping. They're awkwardly propping him up. Get him a cart.
Get a cart. Yeah. And finally, Cowboys win a thriller in Dallas. Professor Broussard is here. With a grade and maybe some belief in Russell Wilson as a nice little bonus.
It was
segment.
nice to see. I'll just say that.
Russ was, the narrative going into the game was, this is going to be the last start of his career. And he threw it for 450. Like, that's pretty good.
Brutal interception.
Yeah, oh, yeah. But still.
You might have thrown for 450 and lost the game.
Yes, true. But he also gave him a chance to win it. And he staved off Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart's like,
yeah.
I want to throw in the last one. Kevin Wildes, Nick Wright, Chris Broussard. We didn't even talk about you were in Baltimore. We're going to get to it. Yes. We're going to have sandwiches.
Great time.
But we're starting with an 0-2 start for Kansas City. Mahomes loses 3 in a row for the first time in his career. Also 3 straight to Jalen Hurts. Kelce coughs up the ball on the goal line. Seemed frustrated during the game. Here's Patrick Mahomes.
After the first 2 weeks, you let games slip away. You know that we played 2 good football teams and made mistakes in big moments, stuff that we're not used to doing. But I think we're coming together as a team, man. I mean, when you deal with adversity, it's about how you deal with it. And obviously, this isn't how we wanted to start, but how are we going to respond? So I'm excited for the next few weeks to see who wants to be challenged and how we can get back and really get after it.
Brew, Nick is still processing this. So we're going to start with you.
I was ready to go. I was going to go first. And then literally 20 minutes before the show started, I was walking around outside the studio, and I got aggressively heckled by an Eagles fan, and I now need a little more time.
So good.
Like, it has gotten
like mean-spirited heckling?
Mean-spirited,
Really?
intense, almost kind of like the vibe of it was he wanted me to bark back and see how it would go. So I
was about to say, knowing you, I'm surprised y'all didn't fight.
You know what? There was the show. I have a responsibility to be here on the show. So, but go ahead.
Are the Chiefs in trouble?
Chiefs in trouble? No.
Really?
Look, I know everybody wanted me to come on here and, no. Not as far as making the playoffs and still being a contender. Now, I picked the Ravens to win it all, so I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl. Wow. But anybody that's saying, oh, they're 0-2, they're not going to make the playoffs, oh, they're not a contender, that's crazy. Like, so no. And here's the thing. They lost 20-17 to the defending Super Bowl champions who had just blown them away 7 months ago. And to a large degree, I'm not going to say they gave the game away, but they had a lot of self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah.
First, let's go to their fourth quarter. And I'm going to talk about it. They had this great drive, 17 plays, I think it was, 74 yards or something like that. They get down to Philly 6. Travis Kelce, that's a drop. That's a catch you got to make. Yeah. One of the best tight ends ever. You got to make that catch. If they make that, they're either tying the game or they're going ahead. Yeah, on that drive, I'm saying if he scores, obviously, a touchdown, they're up 17-13. But at the very least, they're going to tie if they can't score. Like, if he just doesn't, it doesn't get intercepted. Okay. So that took point. And then, of course, Philly goes down and gets a field goal. So now they go up 10. And Kelce, it's been a tough start to the season for Kelce. He admitted he ran the wrong route or didn't run it right. And that's how Xavier Worthy got hurt. Now this drop, I get it that he's feeling, it's kind of like CeeDee Lamb from, last week. So but that's self-inflicted. I mean, you don't expect him he's not going to keep doing stuff like that. Secondly, Mahomes, when the overthrow of Tyquan Thornton.
Brutal.
3:44 left. I think we have it. We're going to have a show. But you don't get any more wide open than that. And he just flat out missed it.
Were you shocked by that?
But I was shocked by it, but he's missed a few, young season.
He talked about
he
missing
missed Tyquan, he missed Noah Gray in the first play of the game. That one, to me, is not nearly as damaging because
Well,
they hit
scored,
it 40
but-
seconds
but
later.
it
The
cost
40
you
seconds matters.
That's
the 40
my point.
seconds matters.
Yeah, they came back
They missed
and scored.
a kick in the game.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
So just things now I'm not saying they would have won. I'm just saying they were right there and they had a lot of self-inflicted wounds. And I think, Nick, too, Andy Reid's 4th and 1 call from his own 36 and the first drive of the third quarter. I don't know what he was thinking.
Andy put it on him. I think he was thinking that they needed to, start the drive, this half off with some momentum and do well. And he obviously also was thinking they'd get it. Would you like to go, KW? Because I think you're probably at least a little more concerned than Brew is.
Yes. The problem is these Chiefs don't look like the Chiefs that I fell in love with. I think the offense obviously is strange. I think the vibe is very strange. I thought the free 4 shirts before the game with Rashee Rice, when he didn't appeal a suspension, I thought it was odd and seems to be I read that as a lack of focus, not support for Rashee Rice. I feel like the Mahomes overthrow was just so uncharacteristic that it struck me as odd. I think the Kelce, people drop the ball. Kelce everyone drops balls. It's not a big deal. Kelce being frustrated throughout the game seemed odd. Chris Jones' conversation with Jalen Hurts, when he kind of is talking about stats rather than winning, seemed uncharacteristic of a champion and a future Hall of Famer like Chris Jones. So the whole thing struck me as odd. That being said, there is a path. Started 0-2 after losing the Super Bowl in the last 20 years. It's the Chiefs this year. We don't know their record. The Bengals made it to the AFC Conference Championship game, and the 15 Seahawks did go 10-6, lost in the divisional round. So it's not. I don't think the normal 0-2 stat, which is I think 12% of teams make the playoffs.
Well,
And remember, there's 17 games now.
Yeah,
and-
so I still think there's a path. But if this Chiefs team doesn't have,
No, listen, it
like a
hasn't
Super Bowl
looked, it
hangover
hasn't
to me.
looked
Mahomes
right.
not playing well. Kelsey's not playing well. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I just think I'm talking about them making the playoffs and having a shot.
If you take it to 0-2 teams that made the playoffs the previous year, which means you're removing the 0-2 teams that were bad the previous year and then bad again. Since they've expanded the field, it's 5 out of 12. So you know what I mean? So that's almost half. So here's the deal. Kansas City is in some trouble. Okay? Because they are going to have to really fight until they get their weapons back, and even getting their weapons back doesn't fix the following. They right now, the only way they can effectively run the ball is Patrick. Right. And I hate that Patrick is having to do that early.
I think he hates it.
Listen, I have always felt his deadliness as a runner is underrated because statistically he doesn't match up to the other running quarterbacks, but it's because he's so judicious with it. And then if you look at him, his playoff running numbers, he's as good as any playoff running quarterback ever. The fact that he has felt I needed to activate that immediately is concerning. The fact that he has, unlike last year, an excellent so far left tackle, but he still doesn't seem to be confident in the pocket, which I think has led to some of the overthrows. That part is concerning. The defense's inability, and I thought the defense played great yesterday, but the defense's inability to generate a pass rush without sending the blitz, sending the house, that part to me is concerning, and how difficult the early season schedule is with Rice suspended. Like, they are 0-2 you can come back from. 1-5's tough, and you know what I mean? And I'm not predicting 1-5, but 2-4 I wouldn't even be all that worried because I saw them.
They could be 2-4 too when you look at the schedule.
2-4 is on the board. At this point, and it's crazy to say this as the Chiefs guy, I'd sign up for 3-3, which it's only crazy to say because historically I'd never sign up for any loss in any of these games. So because I think Patrick has played better than his stats show, but has not been peak Mahomes in either of these games. And I think I believe in the infrastructure, I believe in the team, and you guys know, my darkest of moments, I like to see what Vegas is saying.
Sure.
The fact that they still have the 5th best odds to win the Super Bowl, 3rd best odds to win the AFC, which is, again, it's gotten bigger, but the gap between Baltimore and Buffalo is still there, all makes me feel better. The other thing is this, though, bro, and this is one of the reasons I wanted you to go first, because I didn't want to derail the conversation. None of what we've talked about is the story of yesterday's game. Because the story of yesterday's game is a pretty important seminal moment.
My goodness gracious, we've got...
Because I remember vividly in the first game of Jawan Taylor's career as a Chief, Thursday Night Football, standalone national TV, Chris Collinsworth was like, this guy jumps too often. And the whole world saw it and the whole league saw it. Well, thanks to the great Tom Brady and the great Dean Blandino, who I got to see briefly in Kansas City, they shined a spotlight on what all of us have known for 4 years. Not only is the tush push an ugly play, they jump on it every damn time. When they don't jump on it, it's not quite as effective. And when they do jump on it, it's unstoppable. And yesterday's game will be known as the day the tush push died. So listen, rest in peace, tush push. You've had a hell of a run, and you're going to be allowed to continue the rest of the year.
Not quite R.I.P. It's more of like it got diagnosed with a horrible terminal disease.
Here's the thing. When it is the play you go to on 4th and short, 4th downs that you would never otherwise do, a false start absolutely kneecaps you. They all of a sudden aren't in that. And when you saw yesterday, and they did a good job on the broadcast of pointing it out, and I'll show you 2 tush pushes with obvious false starts, and I'll show you one without one, and you see if you can tell me the difference between them. What you'll see is, Dust, if we can run it, please. The first one is the one Brady was furious about. Both guards jump.
Yeah, that's the one they got the touchdown.
Correct. Yeah. Both guards jump. You have no shot. Another one was the right guard jumped. They end up thinking they get the touchdown. They don't. And then if we can show you the one that the Chiefs actually oh, no, that's another one where the guard jumps. My apologies. We can show you what it looks like when nobody jumps. And that's the one they didn't get any yards on. They ended up having to run it again. Now, even in those, the center is lined up ahead of the ball, which is against the rules, but fine. But listen, Jalen is great at it. The Eagles' offensive line is great at it. And it is effective no matter what. It is only unstoppable when the guards are getting the early jump and you got no shot. You at least have a puncher's chance if it's officiated correctly, and the Eagles have been living on the fact that they don't get called for that ever. And the fact that after that, Brew, after the Chiefs called their attention to it, both these guys jumped. They did it again later and guys jumped, and the guys didn't jump, to me was a signal. They knew, okay, for this game, the refs might be looking for it. So I think that's noteworthy.
Well, I'm assuming you haven't done this, but I agree yesterday they were jumping. But to say that that's really the reason it's been effective over the last few years, I would have to look at it
what
more.
Is
I don't think
definitively true is the way they line up is against the rules. The center's head
all the time.
Every time the center's head is in front of the ball.
That to happen?
Yeah, ask the league.
We may have hit a turning point where now the officials pay more attention.
That's the point I'm making.
The letter of the law.
The same thing with the Jawan Taylor. Like a bunch of tackles start a tick early or line up a little, but once he got the focus on it, and I think that's really damaging for your
I've been a guy that's been like, look, as long as the Eagles do it great, but other teams are failing at it,